Well, everybody, welcome back to yet another episode of Sport Federation TV. This is, of course, the show that looks after the members of the Western Cape Provincial Sport Confederation and the 6 districts, municipal districts that is across the province. Folks, we've got a nice full show for you this evening. We'll be catching up with Chris Nordeer from Western Cape Cycling, at least Western Cape Climbing. Of course, as you know, climbing is Olympic sport, and they've got some interesting news about the Olympics next year. Of course, we know a lot of that has been delayed. We'll catch up with Western Cape Gymnastics. We'll speak to Andre Levax, the president of Western Cape Chess. And we're going to speak on the line with me now to Hendrik Pienaar. He is the president of West Coast Kickboxing, otherwise known as Pienaar. Pine, nice to have you on the show. Welcome. How are things on your side, Meneer?
Thanks, JP. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's the first time for us to speak to you. We've had a number of the federations from the West Coast area on the show with us. We will be speaking to Andre Levax from the chess community. We've spoken to the guys from table tennis and quite a few. Tell us, Pine, how are we doing from a kickboxing perspective in the West Coast?
Well, JP, as you know, COVID this year, it's making things difficult, but through the years, we did well. There's a few clubs that we have. We've got clubs in Langebaan, Saldanha, Matsikama, Vredenburg. So there's a few clubs that we have, and in Moreesburg. So we're a bit strong.
Whenever we get to the awards, the provincial awards, we often see kickboxers from the West Coast with a lot of titles. The guys are obviously doing well from a kickboxing point of view, competitively at a national level.
Yeah, no, we do. So as Sian Jos and Sian Pat always make sure that we have international competitions against Mauritius or Canada or Turkey. So the students get the privilege to go overseas to fight for their national colors and to go to the junior worlds or to the senior worlds every second year. So we've got a lot of opportunities.
We had an opportunity also a few weeks ago to speak to the president and your counterpart, the president of Eden Kickboxing, Anne van der Merwe. Do your athletes get an opportunity to compete against each other, with you guys being on the West Coast and they being on Eden? I mean, you're on the opposite sides of the oceans, so to speak.
Now, what we do is before we go to the SA Championships, we have our own championships like the West Coast Championships. Then we go over to the Western Cape Championships, where all the provinces compete against each other, and then we can see who's the best in the Western Cape, and then we take our teams to the SA Championships to compete again there.
Is there a difference in the style and the competitions that they compete in? We've seen these different forms of kickboxing that you see on TV. You'll see K1 where the guys are on the ring and they're wearing gloves and they're wearing short pants. We're looking at your videos. We see kids there with long pants on. Give us a bit of an explanation of the different types of kickboxing that you get.
Okay, what we have is we've got the Tommy where you have light contact and semi-contact. So that is for the guys who don't want to be too physical or too scared to be too physical. So we teach them first techniques, take them on the floor. So there's more discipline, more techniques on the floor. So when they're ready or when they've got the courage to go to the ring, then they can do K1, full contact, and low kicks. And in the ring for low kicks, you have to wear short pants. On the tatami, you have to wear long pants.
How many instructors or coaches have we got? Do we have enough coaches out there?
I think we do. All our dojos have about 2 instructors that are either full black belt or a black belt with a junior black belt. And my dojo, I've got 3 senior black belts with about 5 junior black belts.
And tell me, Hendrik, when we speak about black belts and we speak about dans, one normally thinks of judo and you think of karate. These are dan grades that originally come from very much from the Japanese style of grading. Does kickboxing also have those sort of traditions or rules?
Yes, we do. Our grading is almost the same as karate, because you still have to do your techniques. Then you have to do sparring. But the most important thing for me at my dojo is fitness. So if you're fit, you'll pass your grading. Otherwise, you will struggle.
How's our top? Who are our top guys? Our top athletes? I mean, that we want to give me one or two names of athletes that are doing really well on the West Coast.
In the West Coast, I've got Marco Goliath now, and David, and let me see.
So there's a
Then
few.
I've got some women like my wife. She's also a Protea kickboxer. I've got my own child. He's a junior black belt. He was SA champ last year. Then I've got, I think, about 5 or 6 juniors, upcoming seniors that's doing well. That have been SA champs from last year. I've got Protea colors.
Well, it sounds like you've got all the South African champions in your house there. That's good to keep an eye on your athletes just like that. Make sure they stay fit.
Yeah, I do.
Hendrik or Pine, as of course you are known. Have we got any indication yet? We know it's been locked down. We know, of course, everything at the moment is still happening under very strict protocols and regulations. Have we got any indication yet, maybe going into the future of when you might see the next competition?
As Jan just sent me some info, they said we can start training, like light sparring and stuff, but I don't think we will have any competitions this year.
Right.
As I think Jan, Pat Carnier, and them are speaking about having the essays and stuff for next year.
Hendrik, we'll leave it at that. The best way for people to get hold of you, obviously, we want to grow the sport. I mean, you've mentioned some of the names there. You've got clubs in Langebaan. You've got clubs all the way up to Matsikama. I know that we've got a karate instructor all the way up top there, Rian Nell, who's very busy with the Kyokushin karate side of things. If people in the West Coast want to join you, and the kids want to come and join a club, what's the best way for them to get hold of you?
At this moment, we've got websites on Facebook, West Coast Kickboxing or Vredenburg Kickboxing, but we're planning to have a roadshow this month, to go to different places to just introduce them to kickboxing, tatami, or self-defense. So we're planning a few weekends to go to different places.
Hendrik, we will leave it at that then, and we'll say thank you very much to you for joining us, and we look forward to catching up with you again soon.
Thank you, JP.
Fantastic stuff.
Okay.
There we go, Hendrik. Thank you very much. There we go, folks. Hendrik Pienaar, of course, president of West Coast Kickboxing. And folks, you need to pay attention to kickboxing in the West Coast. They've got real champions up there who are doing fantastic. They've got a couple of South African champions. I mean, as you said it, saw it at least, Hendrik himself has got family members who have already got the Protea colors under the belt, so to speak, as they talk in kickboxing about belts. Folks, when we come back from the break, we're going to catch up with Andre Levax. He is the president of Western Cape Chess. They're busy with some fantastic events at Club Mykonos, also up on the West Coast. Back in a sec.
For the kettlebell swings, you'll use a heavyweight object, so you can use a backpack with a solid strap or a heavy water bottle. The idea will be to start with your feet ahead of the object so that your first hip thrust will gather momentum, shifting the weight upwards, and you're not using your shoulders to pull the weight up. So from here, it's your hip thrust to get your weight up, using your hamstrings to absorb the movement, and you're hinging at your hips, which means I'm pushing my hips backwards, my knees are relatively straight, and the shoulders are pulled back to keep your back straight as well.